Okay, in this video what we're going to do is look at specifically the asteroid that I've got here. So at the minute what you can see is that when I press play the game starts. So the alien ship, as you can see, comes in after about 3 seconds, but you can see this alien ship at the minute. What is happening here is that it glides 1 second, which is quite fast, to a random position on the x-axis or the y-axis. Now this shoots across the screen, as you can see, so it doesn't look natural in terms of, if I was to use this for the asteroid, it wouldn't look natural, but it looks fine for an alien ship. An alien ship would be able to move like this. So what we're going to do is look at the asteroid. We're going to use the x and y axis quite a lot for this as well. I'm just going to show down here, you can see I can just show that asteroid so we can see it. The first thing we're going to do is just get it to spin. So what we want to do is use it forever, and we will go up to when flag is clicked as well, and then up to motion and turn 15 degrees. So what will happen is you can see it turns now, or spins. Now this is fine, but an asteroid probably doesn't spin that fast. Okay, maybe it would spin that fast if it was actually heading into orbit of a planet, but at the minute it's in space. So I'm just going to set this down to 1 degree. You can change it in either direction if you want. You could actually add that, but we'll leave that. I'm going to leave it at 1, and that's pretty good. And what we will do, we'll also add a hide in there so that at the start of the game it does hide. Now the next bit we will want to do is, well, I'll just hide that. Put that hide in there now. Drop that in. Okay, so that we'll need to comment on that. So we'll just say, we'll comment there, and hide sprites at start, and spins the sprite during the game. So basically, remember, always just a comment to explain what this algorithm essentially does. And then you just put that there and put it up at the top left, maybe, yeah. So you've got loads of room to write code here. Okay, so if I play that, you see it's hidden. So now what I want to do is when I press play, I want to trigger it to appear. So that is to do that, we did this when I receive. We've got this option for play. We might make more triggers later, but the first one is to play, and that's happens from this play button. So on play button, if I look at the code for that, you can see broadcast play. So that's what happens when my ship turns on. So when I receive play, and the alien ship as well, when I receive play, it comes in and you can see it. Okay, so back to my asteroid. When I receive play, what I'm going to do is get it to go to a start position. So the start position, go to, and then I'm going to show it. So I want to be able to see it. Right, the start position is actually where it is at the minute. So if I press play, it's there, right? So it appears, okay? Now you might want it to appear off screen somewhere. So what we could do is think about where it is off screen. So if you wanted to say it to start up the top left, for example, you can see this is about 220, right? So I'm going to just do on the x-axis minus 220, and on the y-axis I'll probably just do 220 as well. Okay, so 220 is probably a good enough number. So if I play, you can see it's right up there, you can barely see it. Okay, so that's fine. Right, next thing I want to do is think about an algorithm that will get these, get a position if it actually gets to this edge. Now the problem with this in Python, or sorry, in Scratch, is that we've got here under motion this if on edge bounce, which is fine if we could use that, because the problem we've got is that this asteroid is going to be spinning, so we need to use this glide in a direction, but glide 1 second in random position we don't want, because that would actually stop at a certain position then change direction, and we don't have anything that says like maybe glide to one side of the screen or the other. So a solution to this would be to use this glide to a specific X and Y axis, but we won't be able to just use the one X and Y axis. We'd have to use several. So the first thing we'll do, we'll get an if, and we're going to do if elif, and then we're going to get another if in there. So if this, and then elif this, essentially. So this is how we're going to do that, and then we're going to put that in a loop, so we're always asking this question because we want it to iterate. And then we're going to basically think of the X position. So in motion, you've also got the actual X position, Y position, or direction of your current sprite, which is the asteroid. So we're going to want the X position at least for that, okay? And we could basically do it from left to right. So the asteroid will go to the right or to the left and bounce off these edges. And it'll probably look fairly good for what we want. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is think about where these positions, X position is. So it is, this over on this side is about 220. So on the right hand side on the X position it would be 220. So it's minus 220 to 220, right? Minus 220 to 220. So that's the kind of numbers we're working with. So what we'll do is we're going to use these comparison operators. So we've got greater than, less than, or equal to. So we'll use this greater than first, and then we'll use the less than. So the greater than, if it's greater than 220, so we'll say if it's greater than 200, for example. So that would be roughly, if I grab this, you can see it's roughly about there, sort of. So if it gets to a little bit more than that, then it's going to go, we want it to go to the other way, okay? We'll do this then, 200 as well. Okay, so this is on the X position, and we're going to say if X position is greater than 200, we'll drop that in there, and we can actually clip this on. Then we're going to glide to minus 200, right? So if it was on this side and went over to this side, then it would bounce off. Now, on the X position we'll do minus 200, but on the Y position what we wanted to do is actually possibly go up here or down here or anywhere along this side or on this side. So we can do this random function. So on the random function we'll do the same numbers, because it's on the y-axis, it's about 200 odds as well. So minus 220 we'll put, and 220. So you can see here we're doing here 200, and this is going to, oh well, here we actually want to go to just minus 200 on that, and then on the, that we'll do that one there. Or no, I think it will be actually minus 200, 220 we'll say. Now we can actually try this out. You can see it is just literally stuck at the minute there. It's gone up to the top. So we have to finish off the rest of this algorithm first before that we can test it properly. So we're going to do another X position. So I'll duplicate that X position, put it in there. And this time it's going to be the other way around, where it's less than. So if X position is less than 220, and we're going to glide, so we're going to copy that one. And we've got the same numbers, except for here we want it to be 220. Okay, so now you can actually see, because I've got play already hitting that, pressed there, you can see it's now moving around. Now, of course, it's going really fast, which is not what we want. So if we stop that, played it again, it's actually doing the spin as well, so the spin's working, but it's going too fast. So we want it to go a lot slower than this. So the easy thing to do would be just to change the glide maybe to something like 10, and play it now, and you can see it's working. So what's happening at the minute, it detected this bit, this bottom bit. The X position was less, was greater than 200, I think it was on, yeah, so you can see it goes up, oh no, so it's less than 200, so it gets over to here, and then it bounces off, and it goes to the other side. So this is going to do this constantly, and of course, what I'm going to want to do is that I would actually be able to destroy this asteroid. So that would be the next step in the video, to be able to destroy this asteroid.